What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to the Daily Draft, brought to you by our good friends right here at Badger State Brewing in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm your host and the publisher of Packer Report, Ross Uggleman. Today, we're doing another prospect primer, and we are breaking down wide receiver Jalen Royals. He's a really, really fun watch. And, you might guess he's pretty Packersy, right? He's a guy that I could see them taking. A lot of the guys we will. By the way, not to get this thing kicked off weirdly, but we are going to talk about guys that they're unlikely to take. Why'd you do that? Well, because you got to talk. I mean, first of all, they don't follow every single thing to a T. Like if they did, they wouldn't have drafted Jaden Reed. If they did, they wouldn't have drafted Amari Rogers. Frankly, I don't even think they would have drafted Javon Bullard. And I don't know if we did one on Javon Bullard last year, and that was their second round pick, right? Like I did a big long one on Jordan Morgan. I did a big long one on Edgerrin Cooper. We had one on Marshawn Lloyd too, I think. And we did a lot of prospect primers on guys they took, but sometimes they go off the board. And sometimes too, it's good to explain to folks that really like a prospect why he's unlikely to be a Green Bay Packer. Not impossible, but unlikely. And so that, we did do, I mean, I'm pretty sure I did Amarius Mims, and I made several online wagers that they weren't even interested in Amarius Mims. Now, he went before they had a chance to take him. I still don't think they would have, but those kind of conversations will happen. Although these first 2 weeks of prospect primers are Packersy guys. Jalen Royals from Utah State, very productive on a per game basis. Also, the quarterback is from Utah State, Jordan Love, of course, an Aggie as well. He had 70 catches and over 1,000 yards with 15 touchdowns in 2023, only played in 7 games in 2024, and was even more productive on a per game basis. You can look up those stats. I don't have them written down here, but he was very good in 2024 before a foot injury, which we'll talk about in the cons portion. Super solid frame at 5'11 and a half and 210 pounds, almost like a running back. I mean, if I told you a running back was 5'11 and a half, 210, you'd say he had good size. He's got a good wingspan, and he's super dangerous after the catch. He acts like a running back after the catch. He's got great long speed on film. I'm interested to see how he runs, but right now he's a really good downfield threat on film. You'd like to pair that with something in the high 4.3s, low 4.4s, and kind of, say, yeah, the speed is real. It's look, game speed is the most important thing, right? But guys that run by guys and then run a 4.55 don't usually get by guys in the NFL. So some of the testing stuff is important. And I'm very interested to see what Jalen Royals runs, because on film, he's a really fun deep threat to watch. I also like his throttle. And what I mean by that is like your start stop, your ability to vary your speed in route running. That kind of deception and that kind of explosive athletic ability is important when trying to beat defensive backs. I also think Royals on the pro side has good spatial awareness for a wide receiver, good understanding of zone coverage, and a ability to get open and make himself available for his quarterback. I think that end of his game is going to allow him to contribute sooner rather than later, and probably be an impact player as a rookie. And frankly, if you're the Packers and you're drafting a wide receiver in the top 3 going into this, you probably would have thought they can take kind of a toolsy projecty guy. Now you're missing your top guy in Christian Watson for probably half the season. You're maybe skewing your needs if you're going to take a top 60 wide receiver towards a productive guy that can help now. I really do think Jalen Royals, if they took him, would be able to help right now. I think he would really, kind of also coordinate with what they've got in Dobbs, Wicks, and Reed as your, starting 3 with no free agent additions. There might be some, but with no current, which aren't possible. But right now, your depth chart doesn't have Christian Watson on it. So you got Dontavion Wicks at the Z, Romeo Dobbs at the X, and you got Jaden Reed in the slot. That's what's there. Obviously Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave at tight end, but those 3 receivers are set. I think Jalen Royals could really complement those guys, spell those guys, and he's got inside-outside versatility. We're going to talk about the inside-outside stuff in the cons, which I know sounds odd, but I want to address it. Injury concern is there. Foot injuries are always scary. I don't like foot injuries. I think sometimes even worse than knee injuries. You get bad feet, you get start to break stuff. I don't like foot injuries more with basketball players because it's of the explosive motion stuff, and you can kind of immobilize a foot in football. But I do not like foot injuries. Not the best release package in the world. Certainly no Devontae Adams. I don't think he's a slot only prospect, but I would like to see him in space in an NFL offense. And then when he can't be in space, I would have liked to see him win more against in press, especially against good physical corners. Like that part of it to me is not always on film. And it's not necessarily always even conducive to the way that he was used at Utah State. It's not like, they're pretty wide open. It's not like there was a ton of press man that was, they were going against zone more often than not. There's not a ton of film of what I'm kind of complaining about, but it's real. It's there. He's physical with the ball in his hands. As I mentioned, he's an absolute yak monster, but I think he loses battles throughout the route to physical corners. I think he can get rerouted. I just like to see him use that kind of frame, that strength that he has with the football in his hands to be stronger through contact, be stronger through the route, be stronger against physical corners. He can get manhandled a little bit, which again, sometimes when I see and think about Jalen Royals, I think super slot, and it's like, well, they already have Jaden Reed. I think for the Packers to be interested, he has to be able to win outside, and he's got to really be at least like a guy that you'd want at the Z, and cannot just be a Jaden Reed replacement, because I don't think they're looking to replace Jaden Reed or move Jaden Reed outside or move Jaden Reed to running back, in kind of a Randall Cobb Cobra package type thing. I just don't know. I think if they're going to be interested in Jalen Royals, he has to survive outside. 9 drops and really only played 2 seasons. In 2022, he dropped his only target. So his stats are really from 2023 and 2024, and there's 9 drops there. It's not catastrophic. I think he's got about a 6.7 or a 6.9% drop rate. It's higher than you'd like. We got to put something in the con section. This is a guy I like. So that's one of the things we're going to put in the con section. Packers fit. I think he's really Packersy. West Coast guy, right? He could have that Sam seal of approval. See what I did there? Height and weight, very much within their parameters. We'll see how he runs. We'll see that 3 cone. Like, those are important things to the Packers when you look at what they've drafted. Jacob Morley will have you guys all set in the draft guide. By the way, draft guide, guys. There should be a link here. Promo code draft should get you $1 off. And it's going to be awesome. It was awesome last year. It's going to be awesome again this year. I think it's the most informative Packers guide that there is. I think we're really, really locked in on our thresholds as far as historically what they've done, what they like, height, weight, speed, even production, go get into the box score. And I think you can really, find yourself with a narrower field of who the Packers might draft. I think it went well for us last year. It should again. Link below. Go nuts. Now I lost my spot. Yeah, we'll see how he runs. That's how I got there. We'll see how he runs. We'll see what those measurables are like. Is he a tier 1 guy? Is he tier 2 guy? We'll find out. But what we know, productivity, he's there. Height, he's there. Weight, he's there. We'll find out the rest. But right now seems very Packersy. And look, man, West Coast small school wide receivers are what they do. James Jones, San Jose State, Devontae Adams, Fresno State, Romeo Doubs, Nevada. They like this kind of thing. It's their thing. I think he'd be next in line, right? If Sam Seal likes him, I think he could be next in line. Overall, Jalen Royals right now has a high round 3, but as I kind of work through the tape and see what he does in Mobile, see what he runs, I would not be surprised if this guy ends up with a round 2 grade and a guy kind of not necessarily like where I had Devontae Adams graded, but in that 54th overall or 55th overall. I think he can move from a player in the 70s, which is what he is for me right now, to a player in the 50s and really get like a solid 2nd-round grade and be one of those guys where, okay, they took care of corner or they took care of pass rush or they got Tyleek Williams or Kenneth Grant in round 1, and boom, Jalen Royals round 2. I'd be like, yep, makes total sense. So that's where I'm at right now. For me, right now, he is player 76 and my 11th ranked wide receiver in the class. Guys, once again, check out the Green Bay Draft Guide and do everything you're supposed to do here at the Pack a Day Podcast YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, click the bell, get the notifications so that you can get every ounce of Packers content that you require on a daily basis. Folks, Have a wonderful rest of your week, and go Pack Go.